DeAndre Hopkins to the Patriots. That's a story that had been circulating the sports world the past few days, this week. The star wide receiver has had many talks, they say, with the New England Patriots. The wide receiver was dropped by the Cardinals a month ago. He's a star, but they couldn't find anyone to trade with him, so they just dropped him. And he's looking for a team. The Patriots are looking for a wide receiver, and as this story has grown, I think a lot of people have really said, yeah, this makes sense, and I am too, right? This is a really good wide receiver, and they need a star in Foxborough because they are in uncharted waters. They are in waters that brings mystery. They're in waters that brings questions. And they're in waters that bring a lot of unknowing. And that haven't happened, and they haven't been in those waters since the time before Tom Brady been in New England. It's been about 25, 30 years since they had those questions. They now have them. And those questions include, is Bill Belichick going to be our long-term head coach? Is Mac Jones going to be our franchise quarterback, and can he be that? And that's big, because if you have questions about a head coach and a QB, that means there's a lot of questions and a lot of stuff that needs to be resolved. And I think a wide receiver one like DeAndre Hopkins will help. Because for Bill Belichick to keep Mac Jones, for Bill Belichick to keep his job, I think a lot of it is going to come on how Mac Jones performs this year. Because I think a lot of people have criticized Bill Belichick and the way he have handled Mac Jones and his development. Keep in mind, in the first 2 years, Mac Jones did not have a real offense coordinator. Matt Patricia, basically a guy who was a defense coordinator all his life, called the plays. The Patriots also, and Bill Belichick didn't trade or didn't buy or didn't draft any real wide receivers. They got Juju Smith-Schuster and Kendrick Bourne, but they didn't help him with receivers. They didn't give him talent. And you look at the development, they didn't give him a wide receiver one, and you look at the development and you say, there has been none. Since the first day, he hasn't grown. And does he look like a franchise quarterback? And I think a lot of that has to be on Bill Belichick and the way he's handled it. And it could all be resolved if Mac Jones plays better this year. But what I say is that your QB can only be good, and he only has a chance to be good. Until I keep messing this up. Ready? Your quarterback only has a chance to be good. The time can come only until you get a wide receiver one. And the Patriots have not had that. Mac Jones has not had that, right? And they've tried to play this game where they bring in a lot of mediocre talent, right? A lot of it. And they say, okay, Mac Jones, there you go. We're not giving you wide receiver one, but we'll give you that, right? We'll give you a few Kendrick Bourne guys, a few pieces that likely will be out of the league in a few years, but they're fine, right? And you look at this year and you have Kendrick Bourne. He's a wide receiver 3. Juju Smith-Schuster, who, if they don't sign DeAndre Hopkins, is supposed to be the wide receiver 1. He's out of his prime. He's old. He's not reliable. He could, at best, be an average to low average wide receiver 2. Right? So, they need a wide receiver 1. And Mac Jones have not had a wide receiver 1 in his time with the Patriots. I think he deserves it. And I think the only way for him to grow is if he gets that wide receiver 1 and DeAndre Hopkins is there. And if you look at where this team is, and if you look at the questions that have been given and have been put out there about how Bill Belichick developed Mac Jones, it all kind of stems from how he came out, and there was no rush to get him a wide receiver 1. There has not been a rush to get him any weapons. The offensive coordinator, right, has totally been a bust. They've got Matt Patricia, who had been a defense coordinator for the first 2 years of Mac Jones' playing career in the NFL. Well, you got Bill O'Brien from Alabama. You got your offense coordinator. You actually have one. And then if you get a wide receiver 1, for the first time in Mac Jones' career in the Patriots, and this is why people get mad, he hasn't had a wide receiver 1. He even had an offense coordinator. And if you sign DeAndre Hopkins, knowing you have, I think, what is a top 10 defense in 2023, this is a team that could be good because this is a team for the first time that has a chance. There has been no chance when you get Kendrick Bourne and Juju Smith-Schuster and you line up with Matt Patricia, who have been a below-average defense coordinator for most of his time. If you give Mac Jones a fighting chance, and that's all he needs a chance. A chance would include a wide receiver 1, which would be DeAndre Hopkins, right? That would give Juju Smith-Schuster the role player that he was in Kansas City. Kendrick Bourne, a wide receiver 3 like he should be. And if you give an offense coordinator to Mac Jones, which he hasn't had since he was really in college and when he trusted, you have something. Because you know you have a good head coach, you know you have a defense, you know you have an offense, you know you have an offense coordinator, wide receiver 1, a running back, and a QB. And look, Mac Jones is accurate. DeAndre Hopkins could come up with the ball, right? And that means the plays that will be run will be right to DeAndre Hopkins. And that's a good sign because there have been very little trust between Mac Jones and his wide receivers. Mac Jones is accurate. Now he'll have a guy, if they get DeAndre Hopkins, that he could just throw it up to. That he knows he will be at this spot at this time. And he's accurate, so Mac Jones will hit DeAndre Hopkins. But I think it would be really nice if the Patriots got DeAndre Hopkins. I'm not a Patriots fan, but I want Mac Jones to do good. I think he's a good kid. I liked him at Alabama. I think he's quiet. I think he is one of the only pocket passers in the league now, right? And I think he came up with a lot of pressure, an unfair amount of pressure, when he got to New England the year after Brady, kind of wanting to be his successor. He got a lot of pressure on him. I think he's a good kid, right? I want him to do good. And if they sign DeAndre Hopkins, this doesn't mean they're a Super Bowl team. I won't even go as far to say they're a playoff team. And although they have the chips together, and then they'll have a defense and an offense and, a few good coaches, this means for the first time in Mac Jones' NFL career, he'll have a fighting chance. Because he'll have an offense coordinator. And he'll have a true wide receiver 1, which Bill Belichick have not given to him yet. Hopefully he will in the coming days. I think just if you're the Patriots, you saved up the money, you saved up the space, you have the room, and the only chance Mac Jones has to succeed is if you get a wide receiver 1. DeAndre Hopkins, like him or not, what he believes in, if you think he's a good guy, if you think he's a good sport, he's a wide receiver 1. That's all that matters, right? So I'm begging for Mac Jones' sake. I like him. Get DeAndre Hopkins. Give him a chance.